really, that's really what we're about. Professional sports gear for people who want to be seen as being professional, or at least take their sport as seriously as that. And it was around about that time I started speaking to a number of companies, and Maximizer in particular. And we decided to go with them. And it was based on a number of things. One, they came across better than the other companies we spoke to by a mile. And also because I went to a couple of seminars like this where people presented, and then I sort of went and did some dissective work and rung them up without Maximizer knowing and asking them lots of difficult questions. And everybody came back with a really good experience, and they had a lot to say, and they kind of knew what they were talking about as well, which gave us a lot of confidence. When we went live with this, it actually showed a 5.6 uplift in sales. That's not route through to checkout, that's actual sales at the end of the day, which was fantastic, because the real objective we had from all of our testing wasn't to kind of improve the site or the user experience per se. It was really, we want to see ROI out of this, we want to see increased sales. That's the bottom line. So all of the tests we did were focused around that. And I think that's an important point. You know, when you do a test, quite often things drop out that you don't expect. But you always have to make sure you measure the right thing for the test. So if you're looking at sales, you know, look at everything to do with the sale, the customer throughput, all of those kind of things. Because if not, you might just miss something, and you might think the test's working when it isn't. So we dropped it to £50 and did an A/B test on it and just ran that through. And what was interesting was that it didn't actually generate any more sales. It was fairly revenue neutral. But what we found was, as we went through the test, it gave us a 33% uplift in customers coming onto our database just because the average order value came down and that many more people bought. But as an exercise in giving us much more customers to market to and increase our lifetime value, it was an absolute success, so we kept it at that. And the final one I'll talk about is this area at the bottom, the additional products or recommends. We tested this a few times now, and the first time we tested it, our algorithm against the Maximizer algorithm, which was over a year ago, we won, actually. We beat theirs, which made us all very, very happy. But since then, they came back and they've made a lot of tweaks to it. And at the moment, I'm happy to say, actually, it's showing an 11% uplift in revenue. My thing really is just to drive home the point that testing is really important, simply because you don't really know what it's going to deliver. And we've had surprises. I mean, I've been surprised constantly by this, of things that we thought would be an absolute no-brainer, and they just haven't worked. And I did a calculation, actually, of the tests we did. If we'd have just implemented everything without testing, we'd have probably had a drop in sales over the last 12 months of about 28%. So, you know, I think that's probably worth its own weight in gold.